we're thrilled to introduce Michael Blakely from Equitas, an interview intelligence software designed for fair hiring and helping companies build diverse teams. Over to you, Michael.
Amazing. Great to be on the show. Thank you, Darren and Chris. I'm going to run you through Equitas at Northern Irish speed. So strap yourselves in and make sure that you're capturing the audio and transcribing the text. Otherwise, you're not going to understand anything that's been said. Michael Blakely, one of the co-founders of Equitas, as Darren mentioned, interview intelligence software designed specifically for fair hiring. I'm going to run you through a remote interview today, bit of face-to-face, bit on scoring as well, and talking about interview best practice throughout. So in front of you here, you can see what a remote interview delivery screen looks like within Equitas. Ignore the little Loom video of me talking in the bottom corner here, but everything else is exactly the same. Everything that we do at Equitas is linked back to creating fair hiring. So in front of you here, you can see a remote interview delivery screen. It's essentially auto queue for interview. It's got all the information that an interviewer would need to run baseline, decent interview for each and every candidate that they've got coming through. You've got the structured questions down the left-hand side. You've got your main question in bold in the middle. You've got your follow-up probing questions as well. So no matter who that candidate is, what their background is, there's some level of consistency coming through. The absolute game changer is the fact that they no longer need to take notes whenever it comes to that interview. It captures the audio, transcribes it to text, and make sure that they can have a super engaging conversation with each and every candidate, segmenting all of that data into the different question areas that they think are important for that particular role, gives them the opportunity to always upskill and improve their question bank and the quality of interview questions as well. And as you can see, as each of the different question sections updates, so do the questions as well on top of that. Now, I'm going to quickly show you what it looks like for a face-to-face interview. It's not just remote with Equitas. Because we're big in healthcare and our biggest client is the Irish NHS, they love doing face-to-face interviews. So it's really simple, same idea in that you've got the question sets appear in front of you, quality interview questions, and they just have a laptop locally in the room so that they can do face-to-face interviews on top of that. Now, what we always try to encourage people to do, and we talked about this briefly in terms of evaluating scoring, try to assess people based on their content, not what they look like, not what they sound like. So with Equitas, we try to get them to dive into the transcription. I'm going to level with you, is the worst place to start a voice technology company is Northern Ireland. We all talk this quickly. We've all got regional accents. So we've taken this interview transcription technology to breaking point and back again. But we always say to people that it's going to be about 90% plus accurate, and it's getting better over time. We do still leave the audio in to make sure that they can listen back. Still a chance of accent bias coming in on top of that. Now, whenever it comes to scoring, what's really critical that we talked about earlier on the show as well is the fact that you need to break each question and answer area down into detailed behavioral indicators. So what are you actually looking for within that role as well? And you can see here, we've got positive and negative indicators, and just by scoring a candidate, it auto-generates some candidate feedback as well. What we'd love to do at Equitas at some point is get rid of ghosting completely. So every candidate who's interviewed through Equitas has a feedback report automatically sent out to them as well. And you can see here, it's something super simple, understanding what the different scoring areas are in the bands, and just a little bit of constructive developmental feedback under each one, and even getting to the point where you can share suggested resources on top of that for candidates to help them improve with their ability, their interviewing, and maybe even redirecting them to other roles within the company and making sure that they know, hey, it's not just this one interview, it's another chance to come back in the future in the long run as well. Now, the last piece I'm going to touch on is whenever it comes to scoring, is our scoring matrix here as well. So it's not just about one person scoring them. What you need whenever you're interviewing is a diverse panel interview. So whether that's a different range of experience, seniority coming in, different people, different demographics, different backgrounds as well. So each interviewer or hiring manager can only see their own scores to kick off with. And on this one here, we've got Nancy Pelosi, who I've scored way down here as my 13th candidate. Now, they do that first pass of scoring anonymously, and then it collates. And that means you can have a proper wash up. At this stage, you can see Nancy's jumped up to about fourth place candidate. We'd want to be washing up on her to make sure I've not been biased because she's a Democrat or potentially because she's female American, anything like that. We need to have a proper wash up and see why my scores have varied so greatly from everyone else off the back of that. So that's Equitas in a nutshell. Any follow-up questions, hit me up after the podcast.
just to jump into a couple of things first. I really like the look of. I love the You said you sounded like the interview feedback is not live yet. The ghosting, the get rid of ghosting, or is that just a mission, and that part of the product's live?
So they can PDF it and ping it across as well. I want it automatically dropping after every campaign, feedback for every single candidate as well. So like literally, if we can get to a point where closed hiring this person, bang, all feedback reports go out
Interview,
at that
love that.
stage as
An
well.
exit
Yeah,
with a NPS
yeah,
built
yeah,
in. That'd be
exactly.
amazing.
That's the
And I
one.
liked the suggested resources part of that. Sorry, Dan, to talk over you there. I love the suggested resources part. A really underutilized part of feedback. I really think suggesting books, TED talks, like doesn't have to be proprietary resources, right? Um,
The first one I would do is like Muse have an incredible guide for whenever it comes to like structured competency based interviews, something like that. Best practice for candidates to go away and learn as well. So lots of little simple things like that. Long term, what heads of TA or TA folks should be doing is being like, look, you've just missed out. Here's our other live jobs as well. Hope you had a good experience. Would love to see you coming back again. Get them in top of funnel to see if there's anything similar to that as well. Not something that we've built yet. I'm really tempted to do audio notes as well for candidates and be like, look, hey, Darren, you just missed out. I thought you were incredible, silver medalist. I'm actually going to keep you up to date here in case Chris drops out with his right to work checks as well to make sure that we can get you through on back of it. But connect with me on LinkedIn. Would love to chat in the future. Yada, yada. Whatever ways you can do to keep
love
those
it.
candidates as employer brand
Always check my background, by the way,
advocates.
guys. Always check my background. It probably does need check. Well, again,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for being on the show, and yeah, we'll hope to see you in the future.
Thanks.
Chat to you soon. Cheers for having me.